At 10:12 on a Tuesday morning, a washing machine in Hangzhou becomes cheaper. A store clerk removes one price card and replaces it with another. A young shopper notices the change from the end of the aisle. She came prepared to buy. Then she looks at the empty space where the old price used to be. If the machine became cheaper this week, perhaps it will be cheaper next week. She closes her wallet. The washing machine remains under the showroom lights. The store has offered her a bargain. The bargain has persuaded her to wait. This is the strange danger hidden inside falling prices. A lower price can help one buyer today. The expectation of an even lower price can weaken an entire economy tomorrow. Economists call a broad and persistent decline in prices deflation. But the word sounds calmer than the behavior it can create. The shopper does not need to understand an index. She only needs to believe waiting will be rewarded. When one person waits, almost nothing changes. When millions wait, the waiting becomes demand that never arrives. The first victim is the store. The washing machine occupies floor space. The store still pays rent. It still pays electricity. It still pays the clerk standing beside the unsold machine. So the manager lowers the price again. The new discount attracts attention. It also teaches shoppers that patience works. The store sells a few machines, but it earns less from each one. Soon the store asks the manufacturer for a lower wholesale price. The request travels backward through the supply chain. The factory receives the same message from hundreds of retailers. Sell for less. The factory can refuse. Then the order may go to a competitor. So the factory cuts its price. Its production line continues moving. Its revenue per machine moves in the opposite direction. This is where cheap products stop being a simple gift. The factory still owes money on its equipment. The loan does not become smaller because the washing machine became cheaper. The building lease does not shrink. The maintenance bill does not politely follow the price tag downward. When prices fall but debts remain fixed, the debts become heavier in real terms. The factory looks for costs it can control quickly. Overtime disappears first. A planned hiring round is postponed. A new production line stays inside a presentation folder. One supplier is asked to accept a smaller payment. The pressure moves backward again. A motor maker reduces its own orders. A steel processor runs one shift instead of two. A packaging company leaves part of its warehouse dark. Each company is responding rationally. Together, their rational decisions make the slowdown larger. The worker feels the change before it reaches a headline. Her overtime payment is smaller. Her annual bonus becomes uncertain. She had planned to replace her refrigerator. Now she decides the old one can survive another year. Another appliance remains unsold. Another store lowers another price. The circle closes. Prices fall because demand is weak. Demand becomes weaker because falling prices make income and employment feel less secure. This is the deflationary loop. It does not require every price to fall. Rent can remain expensive. Education can remain expensive. Healthcare can remain expensive. The prices people fear may stay high while the prices companies receive move lower. That combination can make households even more cautious. They save against the expensive risks. They delay the goods becoming cheaper. China entered 2025 with exactly this kind of tension. Consumer prices for the year were flat on average. Core inflation rose modestly, but factory gate prices fell by 2.6%. That meant the pain was often sharper inside companies than inside shopping baskets. The average household did not see everything become dramatically cheaper. Many manufacturers still received less for what they sold. The difference matters. Consumer deflation changes when people buy. Producer deflation changes whether companies can survive the sale. China's industrial strength can make this problem more intense. Factories are highly capable. Supply chains are dense. Competition is fierce. When demand slows, companies do not immediately disappear. They fight for volume. They cut prices. They add features. They accept thinner margins. The strongest firms may gain market share. The whole sector can still lose profit. This is why a price war can look like progress from the outside. Products improve. Prices decline. Consumers appear to win. Behind the showroom, the industry may be burning its own fuel. Property makes the loop even harder to escape. For years, rising home values made many households feel wealthier. A valuable apartment could support confidence even when cash income felt limited. When home prices weaken, that confidence can run backward. The mortgage remains. The expected wealth becomes smaller. The household becomes more careful. The careful household spends less. The factory sees weaker demand. The factory lowers prices again. Low inflation also changes the weight of interest rates. A loan with a modest stated rate can feel expensive when prices and incomes barely rise. Borrowers repay tomorrow with money that has not become easier to earn. That discourages new borrowing. It discourages investment. And it makes old debt feel larger than policymakers intended. The easy answer is to export the excess. A washing machine that waits in Hangzhou may still find a buyer overseas. Lower domestic prices can make exports more competitive. Foreign consumers receive cheaper products. Chinese factories keep their lines moving. But the solution transfers part of the pressure across borders. A foreign factory now faces the cheaper import. Its workers fear the same missing orders. Governments respond with tariffs and investigations. The domestic price problem becomes an international political problem. China is also too large to rely on foreign buyers for every unsold machine. Exports can release pressure. They cannot permanently replace household demand at home. This is why stopping deflation is not as simple as ordering companies to charge more. A store cannot raise prices if customers are waiting. A factory cannot protect margins if competitors keep discounting. A household cannot be commanded to feel confident. Confidence must come from conditions people can trust. Stable work, predictable income, manageable housing costs, protection against medical and retirement shocks, a reason to believe tomorrow will not punish spending today. Policy can support that transition. Interest rates can be lowered. Public spending can support demand. Consumer subsidies can bring purchases forward. Social protection can reduce the need for precautionary saving. Property restructuring can reduce the fear hanging over household wealth. But each tool solves only part of the loop. A temporary discount can move one washing machine. It cannot by itself create permanent confidence. By the middle of 2026, China's price picture had improved. Consumer prices in June were 1% higher than a year earlier. Industrial producer prices were also higher overall. But the recovery was uneven. Factory prices for consumer goods were still lower than a year earlier. Food prices were still weak. Durable consumer goods prices had barely moved. The danger had not vanished. It had become harder to see. One part of the economy could show rising input costs. Another part could still be trapped in discounting. That is why one inflation number cannot tell the whole story. The important question is not simply whether prices are rising. It is whether incomes, profits, and confidence are rising with them. Back in the Hangzhou store, the washing machine receives one final discount. The shopper returns. This time, she does not stare at the price card. She checks her work schedule. Her hours are stable again. Her bonus is confirmed. The old refrigerator at home has finally stopped working. Waiting no longer feels like a reward. She opens her wallet. The washing machine leaves the showroom. The price did not need to rise first. Confidence did.